Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the after show for Queen Sugar, where tonight we talk the Davis fallout, Raw and Dollar's turmoil, and Vi's prize pies. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, guys? We are back for another exciting after show of Queen Sugar. Everyone's fired up. I love it.
I'm bringing the alarm on some people in this episode.
Oh my God!
This how I feel. I just want to pray. There's a lot going on. Okay, I'm ready.
They really amped it up. Well, you know, on that note,
I feel like we need to go like this. I'm trying to crump right now. Yo, that's why you crumping. Oh, sorry, girl. My bad.
we got a hype in the studio today, but just to introduce ourselves again, my name is Shaka Smith.
Yo! That's
back.
all that's
She's
needed.
back.
It's gonna be back, y'all. It's gonna be back. It's your girl, Miss Candi Marie. Had to come back with the hair because we ringing that alarm. What's up? Let's go, Sally.
Ella, tú sabes, all the girls are curly tonight. I love it. Your favorite Afro-Latina is here, Franceli Chapman. Hey, y'all.
He has curls. He's right, you know.
I was just saying the girl.
It's another curly girl, of course. Takira Shabrae.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited because tonight we got some great segments for you. Got our cultural corner, our sweet tweets, and of course our predictions later on. But again, let's just get into the show. What were your overall thoughts of this show? We're like mid-season here, a little past mid-season. What are you guys thinking?
The triflingness has continued.
Is that a word?
It's continued, and I just made it up because this is real. Like the trifling, you know what? I thought that if I left last week and I came back this week, that maybe, just maybe, things would get better. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Sally, what's up?
We'll just go alley-oop it over here. Let me catch it. Listen, let me tell you something about this episode. Exactly how we came in this episode. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I'm ready to punch some people. Davis is trifling. Nova and Remy is trifling. You know, Ralph Angel's trifling, yelling at this little boy. I mean, overall, I'm just ready to fight somebody.
Right.
That's how this episode got me feeling.
Some nerves were worked, for sure. And I feel like there were a lot of bossy moments, too. Like, there were people kind of stepping outside of their boundaries a little bit, trying to get the snaps and trying to control some stuff. A little sassy, but yeah, I feel the same. All of this.
Yeah, I found myself, I was angry during a lot of the episode. It was like the angst, you know, just like, you know, pushing things forward. But I did love that Micah moment, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, at least I got to watch my anger play through on screen. I was like, okay, finally, I feel a little bit better.
I'm so glad you said that because I was about to say I was going to pull a Micah on somebody. I was going to grab somebody's flag and pull a Micah.
Throw it on the ground.
Micah was bossing up.
Yeah, that was the nice part for the show for me tonight. But let's just get into it. We've got to talk about the fallout from Davis. Of course, we really opened with that scene with Charley, which is beautiful scene, but like you start to see that pain, and she's dealing with a lot of stuff this episode where I felt like things were happening, but she was still the entire episode dealing with this pain of Davis.
Yes. A lot of anger underneath. I just want to say shout outs to the popping gray nails.
Yes.
Her nails were, I know she's in pain, but I had a girl moment. I was like, ooh.
That's what you do when you're in pain. Go get your nails done.
That was a great color. I love the color.
Great color.
Amazing color.
Back to the serious stuff. But it just goes to show that grief, the different from last week to this week, how grief goes in different layers and levels, and how pain hits you in different ways, and it goes through sadness. Like she was in such a emotional like rock bottom last week, and now she's gone into the phase of just anger, and she's taking it out on everybody.
Anger and isolation.
Yes.
And I just want to say this. I felt like she had a waiting to exhale moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was definitely, like, that is what I saw. I was like, she's having a waiting to exhale moment. I'm going to let her have that moment. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk trash about that moment. But honestly, it was so well deserved. And it taught me some things because I just felt like sometimes our anger doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes you just gotta grab something, you just gotta burn that shit.
She took, and I mean, I know we'll get there, but at the end, like, and when she was burning it, she just like, I mean, we could have just thought that, oh, she's just relaxing by a lovely fire for the evening. Okay, there's things in that fire that, and then she just sat there peacefully.
Everything.
And it was so symbolic.
Everything.
Yeah, I thought it was just because she probably kept a lot of that stuff because to honor the time when things were good, but then you realize it was never good.
Right.
And I love the way fire kind of plays up in this entire show. We had the bonfire for Ernest and sort of that release of past hurt and like.
It represents transition.
Yeah.
Candace, you in my head though, because I definitely put, when she said 13 years, I wanted to cue in Mary J. Blige, I don't want to cry, waiting to exhale. I said, she just needs to breathe for a second. Like, she's just, she has all this stuff that she's bottled inside and she's just vomiting, and she just needs to exhale and breathe for a second, because it's becoming too much, and I don't want to see her make really bad decisions based on her being able to not handle it.
And I'm so glad you said that, because speaking of really bad decisions, I think she's kind of already in the midst of making a really bad decision with Jacob. Like, what is going on there? Like,
she's honestly, ignoring his calls.
I'm not a fan of it. Look, I'm not a fan of it. I don't want to see it happen. I don't like him. He's a creepy guy. He's a snake. And I just feel like because she's in such a vulnerable place, I really hope that she doesn't get bit. She kind of already tasted a little bit.
Well, she is ignoring the phone calls.
Yeah,
which I like.
she's not.
And I think at this point now, because I mean, again, I thought things were happening in this episode for her where she was actively involved, but it was all in her brain, and you could almost feel it every scene. But now she at least knows with the surveyor that Jacob's trying to play her. So at least before she did fall in the bed, she really knows he's trying to play her in this situation
all day. And there's no greater feeling than to catch someone before they try to catch you.
Ooh, girl.
Like, and catch you in a sense of catch you up in things, not really catch you doing anything you're not supposed to be doing, but catch you up in some stuff that you ain't supposed to be in.
And did anyone catch her facial expression when she asked that guy for the card? To me, it was she was breaking from all angles. It was such an emotional, it wasn't just about him and the card and the surveyor at that moment.
Right, but you know what? Somehow I feel like we are going to see a new Charley emerge, and she is going to get her power back, because I think that somewhere along the line she got a little distracted.
Yes.
She got a little distracted with everything that was going on. She got a 1%. There were a lot of firsts for Charley that we've seen throughout all 3 of these seasons. But I think that through this pain, she's gonna grab her strength back. She's gonna stand up tall. She's gonna remember her why.
Yeah.
Don't forget your why.
I do have a question for y'all though. I don't know if you guys felt this in this moment, but at the beginning of the episode, when Micah didn't want to talk about the Davis situation, and he asked her, well, how are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm fine. I was like, well, herein lies the problem. You need to tell your son you're not fine.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about that moment?
That's suppression. You know what? A lot of people think suppressing feelings or showing too many feelings around kids is a bad thing, and it opens them up to so many. And Chuck, I think you might be on that boat a little bit.
That's a boat I'm on.
Yeah, so
but
I'm
grown.
actually gonna go the opposite way. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go the opposite way. I just wanted to acknowledge that I understand where you're about to come from.
Yeah.
But my mom was so ridiculously, she forced me to be so ridiculously open. I mean, I told her everything. And when I say everything, I mean from first sexual experience to before, when I was thinking about first sexual experience. I mean, I told her it all. And it wasn't until the moment that I got married when I realized things align a different way when it comes to parents, mom, and, marriage. Marriage comes first, and then, family outside. But I think if they would have had that vulnerable moment, yes, it would have been difficult, but it's almost like ignoring those feelings, and those feelings can turn into something even uglier if they're suppressed. So
yes,
I think it wasn't healthy initially for her, but I think it was healthy for Micah. I think we feel like Micah's grown, but Micah just came off that traumatic experience. He's still kind of struggling with himself. David, this is a thing. This is also a trauma for Micah himself. He's got a sister. So in her mind, she's like, he's dealing with so much. I have different schools now. I don't need him to also take on my pain that I'm feeling. And her pain, if she were to really let go, she might just completely crash, And
you know what? One thing I want to say, and I'm glad you said that, but I have to low-key disagree, because I don't want us to forget how strong this family is. Someone in the chat said, how much more can Charley take? Well, I think that one of the things that I do love that our writers have started to do with this season is we've started to see a maturity, through our characters. And I feel like, honestly, I agree with you. I think she should open up. I think she should tell him exactly how she feels rather than internalizing it, because right now I feel like he is the closest person to her. Right. He is the one person that understands more than anyone.
Yes. Right.
Stop looking at the fact that he's your child and look at the fact that he is a young man. He's smart, he's intelligent, and more than anything, I think that she can have that mature conversation with him, because he is hurting too, and I think that is a moment that they both need to share together.
And it doesn't have to be, because discernment. on the parental part.
Yes.
She doesn't have to sit here and bash his father and talk bad about him, which is a mistake that a lot of mothers make, of speaking very negative about their parents, period.
Yeah.
I think just being honest and saying, I feel really hurt. I'm really disappointed. I don't know how to handle this. How are you?
And that's okay.
And that, I think, should have been.
I think if she could have done that, that would have been the best way to go.
Yes.
I don't think she could have.
You don't think she was ready? You think it was more anger and she didn't want to
know how.
I think if she released that first little bit of emotion, the house of
would
cards would have come
Yes.
falling down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, cool.
I can
So sometimes
see
like you're like
kind of,
protecting
but-
him, but you're also going, if
Oh,
I
I
start to
still
go
would.
in on this, it might just be
Right.
bananas for him and I don't need him to see this, you know?
I still would have. I still
Just
would have
broken
taken
down.
it there
me ask
because
you-
everything that I'm feeling, I 99% sure you were probably feeling too, just a little differently because obviously we didn't have the same relationship, but yeah, I piggybacking on that vulnerable moment.
Yeah,
what
I just think if
Candi
you
said,
had, I
said
think
it
if you have the
perfectly.
mature child and you're in a space that you can comfortably share it in a way that it's not going to badly affect him, that's the best way to go. But I just don't think she was there. I don't even think Micah's there. I think Micah is still traumatized.
He was
and still
ignoring
needs to
her.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he was ignoring her for sure.
but yeah, I love that whole arc. But then we got Vi's prize pies. We had some positivity in the episode, which
Yes.
is really beautiful.
Bring the positivity back, guys.
That's the one thing I love. They always keep Vi in Hollywood, even when they have their own little troubles. They're kind of the bright spot of every episode, so I can at
Yes.
least know I'm gonna smile for that.
You know, I'm so glad that you brought it to a positive place because one thing that I wrote down in my notes is that Vi is giving us life in this episode. There were so many amazing moments, so many teaching moments, and it's so amazing. Again, writers, I love what you're doing because it's so great to see that matriarch of the family, you know, give those life lessons and for her to share that with Nova and for Nova to sit there and to listen. And, you know, like I have so many moments written down. You know, my mama raised me to be a wife and not a mother. You know, that wasn't what I wanted, you know, just to see the evolution of Vi and for her to come into her own and now she's a businesswoman. She's more than just Aunt Vi. We're seeing her. There's so many different levels to her. So I'm glad that we're peeling those levels back and we're starting to see that.
And it's a good representation that age does not matter.
Yeah, because you
No.
feel like you're
Step into your purpose at any time.
you feel like you're
Right.
witnessing someone in their prime stepping into their purpose, just because that's what it is. That's what it looks like when you find your purpose. You're as young as ever.
Yes.
So yeah, that was one of my
There's a
favorite parts.
vibrant energy coming from her. She's smiling more.
love her.
Lupus doesn't seem to be like it's like I'm starting to forget that she has lupus a little bit.
Yeah, and it's nice to hear some of
Yeah.
that, the wisdom she's able to impart to Nova, who we know is going, and she can even see Nova's going through something. You know?
Right.
The only thing that was scary for me was that moment when she says, people don't need to know that I have a weakness.
Yeah.
That as a black woman, she feels like she can't show her
great-
weakness or her
great point.
vulnerability. And I think that is an issue that happens in the black community, not just with black women, but colored people in general, Latinos, you know, all of it. And for me, I was with Nova on this one. Like, there's so many people that are out there that are hurting, that are suffering, that are going after dreams, and to know that you're pushing through and how do you handle it, how do you manage. I think that's something that folks need to hear. A lot of times, especially in a social media world, we seeing everyone's highlight reels. We're seeing everyone just being successful and happy and traveling and eating at the best restaurants, but we don't know how they're making that happen.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
come on.
What kind of hustles do they have?
Come
Like,
on.
I may be at the Ivy, but you don't know I'm hustling 4 jobs to be at the Ivy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yes.
again, if people would be a lot more transparent about their testimony, it would help
Right.
people understand how to navigate.
Yeah, because you don't go through things like my mama always told me. You don't go through things for you. Everything that happens to you is not for you. It is
Ooh,
always
come on,
for
somebody.
other people to realize that it's possible.
I just
Yeah.
told
So-
Candi that on the phone the other
Come
day.
on, somebody.
right
Hey,
now.
girl. You know what? Everybody need a friend. Right. That's gonna tell you.
Oh, so now
what
I'm your
you
real
got.
friend.
Okay, you know what, y'all? We're gonna talk. I'm gonna tell y'all at the end of the
Talk offline.
show what this one was doing. But
I
you know,
think-
that's what friends be doing sometimes.
But
right?
I think it's just very generational. I think we have such an access to get a fuller picture of the story. Like, I think there are motivational people on Instagram and Twitter and this and that are providing their full story. But for
Yes.
someone like Vi, who's not into that world,
Yeah.
like, any sense of weakness might mean you're not going to be invited to the boardroom or to the meeting or to the other opportunity. And so I think it's very generational. I think the weakness was looked on differently, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and she still got the mentality that she was raised with.
Yeah.
I guess my question, what I think about as we're having this conversation is what is too much? At what point is it just like, man, like I have to take this off of me and allow it to be like somebody else to help me carry this burden? Like, what is too much?
Yeah.
Like we need to have that conversation more. Like somebody else put in the chat, she mentioned therapy. You know, like at what point do we say, you know what, if I can't carry this, if I don't feel comfortable giving this to my family, what if I can step outside of my family and seek professional help?
Yeah.
That's another conversation that needs to be had, because therapy, anything attached to professional help is looked at in such a negative way.
Yeah. And that
just
Why
takes-
is that?
Because of our elders. Our elders didn't get the
Exactly.
therapy, and they still
Right.
raised us. So we
Yeah.
think to ourselves, well, they did it. I got to do it the same way they did. But
And
they
I-
did it out of necessity. They probably didn't even have the resources to go to therapy.
Yes.
But we do.
I
you know?
think a lot of the times too, like parents and family members, they're so hurt that when they see someone hurting or going through or whatever, their first reaction is to cover them. Oh, it's okay. Like, you'll get through this. This is a phase, blah, blah. And they kind of take on this responsibility of helping that person. But what I've personally had to realize, and because I actually just stepped into this bubble of sharing your story and your testimony, so it's a new thing for me. But those people have to realize it's okay that you aren't necessarily the one to help me. It's okay that you can't help me. It's okay that you're not the specific person I need to speak to, but the fact that you care enough to help me get the resources, like you said, in order to get that help, like the therapy or things that you maybe not know about, but we can learn together.
Right.
At the end of the day, we just need to make sure that person gets help in whatever shape, form, or fashion that they need. And whether for Aunt Vi, that's doing stuff and like finding things to do, or finding that one person, like possibly the gentleman she had the meeting with, to help her get closer to her light. And it's not necessarily her family to tell her to just sit down somewhere.
Right.
So be it.
But I think we're undergoing like a cultural change, especially minorities, in terms of getting help and being part of conversations that. I was thinking today about Terry Crews and how he went in front of Congress to deliver his Me Too moment. But then you have that post by 50 Cent. That's like, hey, you're basically, soft for doing this. And 50 Cent is a cultural leader.
I didn't even know that
Oh,
happened.
yeah, huge. And so he's a cultural leader. And so we clearly still have these divisions in our minority communities of seeking help, being part of a conversation that progresses people along.
What masculinity really
What does it look
means,
like?
what
Yeah.
it looks like what?
So, and the same
Yeah.
thing for Aunt Vi, like going for help, reaching out for different resources. Is that weakness? No, it's actually strength when you can do that. But that's
Your
a conversation
voice-
we're still having in our
What?
community.
This is to 50 Cent.
Right.
50. First of all, his name is 50 Cent, and your opinion is worth by 50 Cent. Anyway, I want to say I appreciate, since we're, and this is not to deviate away from the topic, I appreciate the way that he handled it.
Yes.
I think he handled it like a grown-ass man.
Yes.
Just, end of story.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so it's just a conversation. I love that they're highlighting that we have these different ebbs and flows and pushbacks and pullbacks.
Love it.
But we also have some great news from, is it Takira?
From me.
It was for me. I'm gonna toss it on to Sally because I think it's great news too.
It's
I
me.
think it's great
Hey,
news too.
AfterBuzzers.
We need your
So I just
support.
want to let you know that here at the network, we produce after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas to reality to sci-fi and more. There's no other network that works harder to serve television fans than us right here. But now we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. Besides helping us a ton, here's what it's in for you. It caters specific content that you already will be directed to. It brings you to your favorite shows, your favorite after shows, and you don't have to seek them out. And it suggests content from other channels or podcasts that might interest you. So subscribing to our YouTube channels will also help you discover new shows we're sure that you're gonna love. Since you're already tuned in to AfterBuzz TV dramas, which is what Queen Sugar is on, you'll also love shows like the show Takira's on, 13 Reasons Why, or the show I'm on, The Six, right after this. So, and when you subscribe to After TV dramas, it'll direct you to one of those as well. So that's the cool thing about doing it. And if you're worried about notifications, don't worry, they're optional. It's easy. Just hit that subscribe button and stay tuned with us right here at AfterBuzz TV.
We're talking to you, Carmen Williams, Mary Ann Jordan, Hampton Blue. Y'all in the chat, go ahead and subscribe.
Yes, all you guys.
No, but literally, I subscribed today. I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed because I've been subscribed to AfterBuzz TV, but not to AfterBuzz TV
channel.
dramas.
You know what?
Yeah.
So-
I just subscribed today
Yeah.
too, and you know
Look
what?
at y'all.
Since we're all
I'm seeing
subscribing-
Yeah.
Sally's notifications right now.
Yeah,
Like,
my
I'm going off her-
notifications are
Nice.
popping up all the time.
Oh my
Good.
God, I love it.
And when you
know
do
what?
subscribe, it asks you if you want the notifications or not, so you can turn them
Yeah.
off. So yeah,
Turn Turn them on. Turn them off.
Turn them on, turn
all
them off,
that.
but just subscribe.
But since you're subscribing, you know.
Yeah.
Are you right?
No, I'm just looking at your pretty face.
Okay, so don't talk to me. iTunes, guys. Listen, there's another way that you can subscribe and listen to our show. You can comment, you can like, show us some love because I think we talk about some pretty good stuff.
5
you
stars.
know?
Give us 5 stars. But you want to give us 4? We understand. We understand.
No,
But,
if you give us 4, we coming. Never mind. I want 3.
But
Yay!
we
Shout out to
definitely-
Maya. She said she just subscribed.
Yes.
Shout
Thank
out,
you.
Maya. Thank you.
Awesome. You guys are amazing. But some more not so amazing stuff from Queen Sugar. we had Ra and Darla going at it, and probably the most words they've exchanged all season. Right? That was just explosive. You know, Blue's acting out again, and Darla wants to be more a part of his life. What did you guys make of all of this?
First of all, I get it. She's a mama. The homies are in the house. There's a whole bunch going on. I mean, before that, I know we're talking about Blue pushing the little boy, so that brings up some concern. Like, wait, as a parent, we're co-parenting. Good, bad, or indifferent. We are co-parenting. This is something you've kept in the dark from me, so I'm going to come talk to you about this. Like, hey, keep me in the loop. Sidebar and side eye on Shorty staying in the house, looking at Darla like, hey, she looking like a snack.
I think that like when she first got out of the car at the beginning of the episode, he was like, "Oh hey,
Hey,
oh,
I was
hold
like,
on."
no, pump your brakes, sir.
Exactly.
Anyway, that was a sidebar. I'm back on the road. So I'm like, okay, I get that as a mom. It's like, hey, okay, cool. Thanks for including me. All right, cool. We're going to have this powwow. Blue is deflecting, which I get it. And then we see why. Totally get it. Boom, boom, boom. To the big rev up. Listen, if I'm a mom and I walk into a house and people are drinking.
Hello, somebody.
And there's these strange men. And I'm sorry, I don't want to think the worst, but my mother raised me this way.
Oh.
My mother was always thinking the worst, like some man was going to touch me or something was going to happen. I don't want you sitting on no one's lap. Like, he's a little boy. Little boys get touched all the time by men. I'm not having it. I don't want no grown man that I don't know around my son. Point blank, period.
But
And Ralph Angel didn't know
hold
him either because when she was like, "Where's Ralph Angel?" He was like, "Who?"
But here's my question to you: if Ralph Angel knows about this, if he had known about this, and these were his friends, is it fine? Right?
Well, no, because
Ralph
it's
Angel
not
wouldn't do
fine.
it.
It's not fine.
No, but he's having a poker game with some friends. If Ralph Angel knows,
First of all,
it's
there's
obviously
alcohol,
it's an issue.
there's cussing. It's such a bad example. And I think that Darla showed her power in that moment. We've seen her show her power more and more. And I think in that moment, she really let it out. She put her foot down. Get out.
But
that is not her house, but she's going to get the hell out of here with my child. Get out.
I see where you are coming from because had this had been my house, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because please believe I'm on this train, this road, this sidebar, all of this of where you are going. But I must play devil's advocate a little bit because I see where you're coming from. Like if this was my house, I'm Ralph Angel. I'm channeling Ralph right now. I'm Ralph Angel. This is my house. I have my friends over.
Yeah.
We're drinking. We're cussing. We're man talking. You know that's
My
what,
kids
what
wouldn't
they
be.
do.
It wouldn't be my weekend.
Well,
Blue
Not
wasn't
around
in
my
the house
children.
though.
No, Blue wasn't in
He wasn't in the
house.
house. Blue wasn't in the house.
And assuming it's before his bedtime,
But
which,
I would
so it's
say,
like, you know.
if he came in and he was expecting, like Ralph Angel was expecting Darla to bring Blue. So, I mean, you got to be a little bit responsible there.
Well, he was on his date.
Yeah, I was confused
So
about
what-
the whole
so what
dynamic there.
exactly-
I was
dynamic
like,
was this.
He wasn't ready. for
Ralph
Blue to be-
Angel wasn't home.
Yeah.
The dude decided while Ralph Angel's out, I'm going to invite my friends, and my friends will be gone by the time
who
Ralph
did you
Angel gets
ask?
But
home.
yeah, in that scenario,
He didn't ask.
No,
No,
he
he
didn't
had the
ask.
right to do
No,
that.
no,
And I know that's what I'm saying. Who gave him the right to do that?
In that scenario,
First of
he
all,
was
bruh,
wrong.
This ain't your house.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm glad you stay here. Third of all, you hanging on by a little string.
Yeah, the
So
Furley's got to
you about
go.
get-
He got to
yeah,
go.
you can
And
kick
first of
out.
all, these random nobodies know where my house is and have been in my house and
Hello?
know where things are. If someone steps into your house and can tell you where you keep the refrigerator, where you keep
Yeah.
the living room, where you keep the what?
But I did think Darla overreacted without
No.
knowing. If she
Oh,
knew,
no,
if she
I
knew the
disagree.
scenario, she didn't overreact. But instead of walking in and going, "Well, where's Ralph Angel? What's going on here?" I mean, when I was growing up, if I was home, my mom might have some friends over to play dominoes and they'd be drinking. But I was still a kid and I knew my place. I knew.
But Darla
So-
used to live there. She I'm sorry, but I'm sure that there's still a part of her that feels like that is still her home. Yeah, they broken up, they not together, but I'm sorry, that's how, like, as a woman, my child is here. I don't care, get out this house. You're not having that around my child.
So you agree with it, even if they were his friends, you agree with the same reaction?
Yes, because of the energy that they brought into that house, what they were doing. No, they're basically gambling at that table. I get it, they playing spades, but that's probably how she looked at it. This is not a good example for my child. My child comes first.
I think the fact that he was like Ralph Angel,
that's another. Yeah,
I think
that's
that
a problem.
because she kind of came in like, okay, something's going on. Okay. And then when she was like, where's Ralph Angel? She didn't yell, where's Ralph Angel?
Right.
She didn't come in loud. Like,
Right.
she was like where's Ralph?
I guess she did finish strong, so good.
Yeah, she didn't.
Yes.
So the way she reacted was completely appropriate because she gave it a minute. She was like, okay, my spidey senses are up, but where's Ralph Angel? Because if I see Ralph Angel, he'll know that these people gotta go now. We can move on. But when people was like Ralph Angel, who, and he just walking like it, then that was the moment to go
But
crazy.
notice Ralph Angel, when he got there, he agreed.
Yes.
You
He
got
did.
to go. You got
Yeah.
to get all
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
stuff, and you got to go.
Yeah,
because
he
he was on the same page.
It was-
There's nothing to argue about.
Yeah.
That situation played out, I think, exactly the way that it needed to.
Right.
Well,
and then
anyway.
it continues
Yeah.
after that. What do you guys think about the family dynamic now? I mean, I guess we'll touch on predictions later on, but I heard a lot of my
Yes.
mommy, like my child, my son. So did anyone feel a type of way about the ownership of Blue not feeling like it is a full parenthood? Parenthood.
You saw my reaction
Yeah.
because we were sitting side by side. I was like, what? Because the fact that she just uses this, our child, your son, my son, she's flip-flopping.
Yeah.
So I need her, to identify the truth in the matter of, that's your son. I'm stepping in. So if you're gonna call it our child, call Blue our son. Continue that, But she was like, I want my child and my mommy and my like.
To me, I almost see Darla in the parolee, or is he on probation or parole? But I almost see him as the same way, because here's this guy. He's supposed to be walking on eggshells. He's letting you stay there. Here's Ralph Angel. You should be walking on eggshells in terms of you're the father. Like, she should be kind of, to me, reinforcing that over and over and over again, at least for the next 3-4 months, 6 months maybe, so that he feels secure in his place when you've already kind of ripped, taken the rug from underneath him. And I feel like she's not doing that. She's not giving him that care.
Well, I feel like it's because this is not the same Darla that we've seen in the last 2 seasons. Again, she's a new, improved Darla. She is clean. She has gained her power back. So with that being said, what you're not about to do is tell me that I got to ask you for permission to see a son that is really my son and not yours.
But is that a Darla being petty, or is that a Darla getting her power back?
No, it's Darla who has gained her power back. Now, aside from all of this arguing and all this bickering, the only person that I'm really concerned about in this moment is Blue. Yeah. I am so concerned about, let me just say this real quick. I am so concerned about Blue, because what I'm afraid of is through all of this arguing and all this bickering, the truth is going to come out, and he's going to hear it, and he is going to he already acting out now.
I almost feel like he already
That's
knows.
what I thought.
Like,
was
because
gonna
he's
happen.
smart. He is very smart.
Well,
So he might feel something.
Blue's biggest problem is he doesn't have any home training. If Blue had been getting a little belt every now and then, Blue, to me,
listen, I'm for you. Disciplining your kids, I'm all about that.
To me, that's what, honestly,
but
that's
don't
what
sleep on Ralph Angel. He's been disciplining him every now and then.
Did you see when he told him to go to the room, and in that Ralph Angel voice that should scare anyone's child, and Blue was like, "No, I'm not having it." I was scared. I almost went to the room.
Well, his mom was there too.
His mom was there.
Yeah. I think that, like with Darla, I definitely love that she's getting her power back, but I just think the flip flop thing is what's kind of set me off.
That's the problem.
I think his mom was there, so he had to come. He had a safety net. I mean, like, you're seeing two people dispute.
When the parents are not on a united front, this is what happens, and the child's able to manipulate, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. The child's able to manipulate things given those factors. Do I think Darla's being petty? Yes or no? Subconsciously, to a certain degree, there's some pettiness there, because at the end of the day, you can't take away from the fact that for 3 years while you were, on these drugs and prostituting, this man took care of this kid. Yeah. This kid could have been in foster care or lost. You could have lost him forever.
So let me ask you
He may not be biologically the father, but you cannot take away from had it not been for him, you might not even have your son.
And I wish that Ralph Angel would be vocal and say that. Because I think, honestly, and I agree, I think that Darla needs to be reminded. She needs to be reminded because I think she's getting so caught up in her power that she is starting to forget, baby.
Somebody needs to put her in her place too.
He does try. I feel like he's trying.
I don't think that he is articulating himself well enough.
He didn't say it with his chest.
He needed to say it with his chest, with all of his chest,
Yeah.
because I think she does need a reminder. If he does a reminder, I foresee Nova or Charley reminding her. And they're going to remind her.
Either way, I do think Blue needs a spanking. To me, this kid is like not. I mean, when he walked out of the room, even when Darla was saying, "Hey, what happened?" He's like, "Oh, let's go play," and left. I was like, I could have never done that with my mom. I would never have gotten up and walked out of the room on my mom. But we'll see where that goes. We did have a couple small things I wanted to bring up, which was obviously the beautiful kiss with Trin, which you reacted to very like, whoa.
I roll.
I roll for you.
And I will not
I roll.
I think I'm just a hater when it comes to Ralph Angel. Because I'm not necessarily team Ralph Angel and Darla. I don't know if that's ever repairable, but I don't know if I like
Trend.
I don't know. There's just something that just I don't know.
I
Anyway,
loved it
maybe I'm
because
just being a hater. That's it.
I love it
Leave
because the
there.
first time you see Ralph Angel kiss him with no baggage, you're not
That
the
we know
local
of.
woman down the street who's got, whatever.
So we don't know her yet.
Yeah, so at least so far, all the women have been Darla, who had all the baggage, and then these women that are kind of like the one-offs with also baggage.
Right.
So it's like, oh, he's actually in a healthy thing, and he's this young guy,
Taking time.
single.
They haven't had sex yet.
Yeah. It was for me, it was like a nice moment of a happiness for Ralph Angel, where we haven't really seen him be like sweetly happy in a while, right?
Candy rolling eyes.
Yeah, I'm like,
Y'all ready for my pettiness?
Oh. Ooh.
First of all, Ralph Angel, I don't want to see you with nobody. Man, okay. Let's be real. No, honestly, like, as I was studying this woman, Trin,
Studying?
that the writers
Stalking.
have created her to be this Trin woman, all I could think about is that she reminds me of Darla. There is something about her that reminds me of Darla. Like, I don't know. That's just the vibe that I kept getting. Like, I wrote that down in my notes. Like, I think they did a really good job making her very relatable to him. Like, the fact that they both work for their family's business, and that's what I saw in his eyes. Like, wow, like this girl gets it. She understands, and I feel like that's why he likes her. But I just see Darla. I see another Darla, just more well put together. She's smart like Darla. Let's get Darla is smart. She's educated like Darla, but she's just a little more put together.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Interesting. I'm interested to see your predictions.
Before we go into our
Nova.
special segments, I do want to acknowledge Nova. I'd like to do a round of applause for Nova. Can we just do a round of applause?
Round of applause.
Round of applause. This episode, she said
She
no
turned him
to
down.
Remy. She said, I don't know what's going to happen next episode, but this episode, she was like, nah, we're good.
Can we talk about the triflingness of Queen Sugar playing that Temptation song while she was... I was like, really, Queen Sugar? This is what we're doing? This is the song we're playing right now?
And the
she's
words-
telling him, we can't do this?
The words that temptation is the game we always play.
I
It was hilarious.
Well,
it was hilarious.
I just have to
But-
give her
over y'all
props for
writers.
making that decision, that choice. Hopefully, I'm going to take my wins where I can get
I'm
them.
about to say, I will say, people are powerful behind text messages.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen?
There's a different vibe when it
But-
comes to physical encounters.
We got a small win. I'm going to take it.
We talk a big game when
talk
we
a
be
big
texting,
game.
and then when he in your face, oh my God.
I didn't expect.
First
And
of
you
all,
came when I
I
wasn't
am sick of
expecting
Remy.
it.
I am sick of his little vulnerable ass. Okay, Remy. Now it's how many? Like 200 women in the town,
There's only
and
like
your ass.
175.
I'm sorry, my bad. 175 women in the town,
least
and
work
you
your
gotta
way
go
through them
shack
before
up
you come
with
on.
Nova.
Yeah.
Why you trying to shack up with Nova? And Nova, you're trifling. And you know what? Let me say this, and I wrote this down. I got hella notes. I got hella notes.
She's like, I wasn't here last week. I need all of this. out."
Listen to me, damn it. And this is what Vi said. It's always complicated with you. You're damn right it's always complicated with you, Nova. What the hell is going on? You just cannot get it together. First you thought
country coming out?
I am being country because I am pissed off, okay? Nova, I just want you to be loved. But you just keep falling into all these trifling situations. Get it together, damn it, because I believe in you. What happened to damn Dubois? Get Dubois back. What is it? Writers,
on
what the
that
hell
one.
is Dubois? The first time I like a damn guy, your ass got to go and run him off. I'm sick of this.
She just went on a rant.
We definitely gotta get Rutina in here
Okay,
now.
I'm sorry,
right?
guys. Rutina, we need you. Come on, come
Yes,
through.
we got some questions to answer.
Let me retain my country.
Well-
Bring my country back. Sorry.
Well, let's get on to our special segment of sweet tweets. Hopefully, you have some sweet tweets from the episode.
Sure do.
I got a couple.
Who wants to go first?
I'll let you go
Sometimes you just gotta let it hurt.
Yeah.
That moment with the kids in high school, I really love that because you have to allow yourself to feel the pain so you can go through it and then move forward. There's no other way to do it. It sucks, but if you gotta sit there and cry your eyes out, if you gotta get mad and break some stuff that's not other people's stuff, yes, do that. So that's one for me. Another one that I wrote down for my sweet tweets was the one I already mentioned. People don't need to know I have a weakness. I was like, whoa, what's that about? But mama raised me to be a wife and a mother. It just wasn't me. I wanted my own dream. Because as a Afro-Latina woman, I that's real. Like when I wanted to move out of my mother's house, I was in my mid-20s still. I was like, I'm still in my mama's house. And my family was really against me moving out. Like, you're going to be a horrible daughter. How could you move out and not help your own mom? Because what, you going to move down the street to Harlem and, but moving across the country was more supported. And even that, my grandmother was like, you live in California with who? By yourself? You ain't got no man? You're not married?
What are you doing?
And I'm like, but it's 20, But again, that is real. We're in that whole old school, we're raised to be wives and mothers. That's real. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
Don't take your headphones off yet.
Not yet.
You
got one?
Okay, sweet tweets. Surviving and dreaming are two separate things. When I heard that, I was like, that's interesting. I think that it speaks to a lot of people that have dreams. And sometimes surviving does get in the way, but I want to take this to a motivational moment that sometimes dreaming teaches you how to survive, because it's like, man, this dream could either fail or you can do whatever it takes and still make it happen. So I feel like that's what Vi has done through this situation. She's been nothing but a survivor, and it's been beautiful just to see her dreams emerge from surviving. So I really like surviving and dreaming are two separate things. Also, I really like...
Look here, y'all can't be taking multiple ones because y'all might say what I might say. I'm going to let you have it.
Okay, this is my last one. I'm going to make it quick. I never dreamed big enough. I didn't give myself permission.
Oh my gosh, I know it.
Can we say it together?
Yeah, well, why don't you say it together in unison?
Now. It's together, guys.
I felt it, girl, because we were on the same wavelength. I was like, oh, she going to say it. I got to call it out.
That's what I love about this panel, y'all. We always on the same wave. Y'all are great.
It's okay. You could
Can we do okay.
I had two. I had Vi's "Let's Do This" when she accepts the offer to move forward. Just the tone of her voice, the way she was ready to accept it, and even the shakiness. Because you remember, we talked about this earlier. Vi's uncomfortable in the home of white people to begin with. So this whole setup is like completely foreign for her, and then they're offering her help, and they want to really grow and then do it in a fair way for her. So that to me was her moment of courage and like jumping in. So I really love that from Vi. And then of course you have Charley hearing, you can't change what Davis did. You can only find peace with it. I think that's so much times in our life that we're always going to ourselves, if only this could have been different. How could I have seen it before? How come I didn't see it on his face? She was talking about. But forget about it. All I gotta do is make peace with it because it's already happened. It's the past.
Right.
Nothing can be changed. So that was like a real effective line for me, but yeah.
Okay, come on, y'all.
There's plenty. There's plenty in this.
Plenty of
show.
stuff. Plenty of
We should
stuff.
just download the script and just start reading it. But a real live read. But Sally, I believe you have got some Culture Corner news for us.
All right, Culture Corner. Hey, y'all. So your girl Franceli here was on the scene. It was BET Awards this weekend.
Yes.
And I ran into Hollywood in Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Anyway, Omar Dorsey was out and about for the BET Awards. We were at the after party. I said hi. I told him he needs to come on the show, so we're going to try to work that out. But he just did an interview with People Magazine, and the 42-year-old actor Omar Dorsey said that Queen Sugar has helped him become a leading man. And he's thanking all of us and people who tweeted and stuff that really said, like, man, I want a man like Hollywood. And it's really helped reposition him in the business. And now he's getting offered roles as an actor, as a leading man, where before before he always played like a gangster or a comedian. So this show has really changed everything. So he said, quote, "I might not be the conventional leading man, but at the end of every Wednesday, Twitter and Instagram is flooded with what I just said, I need a man just like Hollywood. And people start seeing me in that light. So the roles I'm getting now are the leading man. So I really appreciate it.
That's amazing.
I've been acting on film and television for 20 years, and I've never, I think, have had one." He said he thinks he's had only one female director his whole life until Queen Sugar. And now I work with maybe 15 to 20 of the best directors in the business who happen to be
That's
female.
true. I love
That's
that Queen Sugar
amazing.
put like the actors and obviously the directors that have been booked since first season. Like they can't even come back to Queen Sugar because they have other extensions with different shows now as a result. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
we're in a
Gave me
beautiful sort of
goosebumps.
awakening
Yeah, isn't that dope?
of I think black culture on television and in
Yes.
film. So
And
So
the
that's
power
Sally.
and the power of supporting one another.
yeah.
Like
so
just
much
being
power.
happy for one another to for someone to have their success.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, culture. Corner culture.
Culture
out.
corner.
Yes.
Yes.
And now for our prediction.
Ooh.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Takira, you gotta go first because we took your quote.
No,
We took your sweet tweet.
because you know what? I don't even really. I have some stuff, but it's
you
not
can
really. You
predict
know,
something.
I'm gonna let y'all go. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all roll with it.
Let me get Charley. What do you see for her?
I think I think Candi touched on it. I definitely think. I mean, we said a couple episodes ago. She'll find her power. She'll get back on track. It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
Does she
but
sleep with Jacob Landry at any point this season?
No,
Oh.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But
Does Nova sleep with Remy?
it's just me.
Oh.
I
Yes.
definitely think something's going to happen. I will say that because I feel like Remy's going to catch her off guard. She's going to be a little, maybe not full out, but something's going to happen. A little deeper than just that.
Yeah.
Temptation
And-
has been her weakness.
Why don't we all answer that question and then also do your other prediction? But start off with the Jacob, Charley, and also Nova Remy.
Jacob, Charley, no. Mary and Jordan even said the same thing, that it was just the liquor. That's mine.
Yeah. And then what do you think?
Remy and Nova.
Yeah.
Remy and Nova, unfortunately, yes.
All right.
And I'm going to be pissed. But I'm done.
That damn Jacob.
And if you have other predictions, but yeah, start with those two, and then if you have others,
That damn
keep going.
Jacob. No, because hell hath no fury, and Charley is back. When it comes to Nova ass, I want to say that I feel like temptation has been her weakness through all 3 episodes. So I don't know.
I'm going to go the opposite with you guys. I'm going to say Nova and Remy, no. I just can't believe Nova would make that choice. Especially because Charley blew her off and she still told her, cause I thought that blow off was going to mean she was going to go like, hey, yo, what's up, Remy? And she still was like, no, this can't happen. So regardless of the relationship with her sister, she kind of seems to know not to hit that territory up. I think Charley and Landry, yes. And I think it'll be, Charley will do it from a cold place, and I think she'll do it only to get his defenses down. So I think it'll be very just a calculated thing for Charley.
Ooh.
I think Charley's removing herself
cold.
from the realm of like being emotionally tied to someone.
I
And
will
so I think that's
say
what
if
we're
that
gonna
happens,
see.
I will lose a lot of respect, I think, for her at that point.
But you know what? For her, it is no longer about any of that. Like all of her, I agree. I feel like all of her emotions have been stripped from her. Every single thing.
'Cause what
And
else can you do to her,
And
it
if
feels
she
like?
finds out, because I feel like she's gonna find out about Remy and Charley, that will be the final straw.
Of course she
Yeah,
does. Already putting a pin in the show.
Yeah, whatever. At
We love
least
the
Nova,
drama.
delete your text messages. Just delete them so she can't even see what's going on.
The truth comes to light regardless. Not that he tried to plant this seed about how to be
Oh
smart
my
about
God.
it.
Well, it looks
done.
like next episode we're gonna get some real concrete answers. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. As always, my name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Shaka Strong.
Yes, be sure to tune in next week. It is your girl, Miss Candi Marie. You can find me on Instagram at Miss Candi Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Candora TV.
Your favorite Afro-Latina, hang out with me at all things at Selly Hangout and on the 6th, right here on AfterBuzz TV Dramas.
Yes, and you can find me, Takira Shabrae, on Instagram and Twitter at Takira_Shabrae.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.